Hi there, I am Kululwa Muthwa and welcome to Property Market Moves. Today I am sharing the stage with Pholoso from the Women's Forum because we're still in Women's Month.
Yes.
Pholoso, hi.
Hi.
Say hi and
Hi.
yeah.
Hi, I am Pholoso. I am a property valuer by profession, a aspiring property developer. Yeah.
Aspiring property developer.
Yes.
Okay, and our guest today, Lethu. Hi.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
I'm good. So, to start us off, who is Lethu?
Good morning. My name is Lethu. I'm part of the Women's Incubation Programme. I am a Black emerging property developer. I have a passion for business.
Okay.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
As well as community development.
Okay. Community development. I love that. All right. So tell us about your journey. Where did you start? And what has it been like?
Okay. So, my journey starts, as far as 2007. Where I was working at Standard Bank as a home loans consultant.
Okay.
I think that is where I got into the property industry on a very professional level for the first time. So yeah, that was a while ago, but I gained a lot of experience, started to understand property, and then of course, being an entrepreneur, even though I didn't know at the time, I started seeing the opportunities that were available. But I did mention that it was 2007.
Yeah, almost 20 years ago.
So although I could see the opportunities, but there were a lot of barriers to entry. I think the most important and main one that we should highlight is property is a capital intensive exercise.
Yeah.
And it needs a lot of commitment. And that commitment sometimes is not only just, hard work and going out there, but also having the financial muscle, and the discipline to come into such an industry. And I think the experience that I had at Standard Bank in the home loans department actually really showed me that. But it also showed me, like I say, the opportunities, because I was working with, like portfolios of huge real estate companies at the time, your Wakefields, for example. And I remember back in those days, we had a target, in terms of how long you could work on a home loan. So basically I was, what they call bond originating now.
Okay.
I think the bank has since started outsourcing that component where someone brings someone's portfolio and it's already kind of been assessed and so forth. But back then we were assessing from scratch basically, and sometimes we'd have like 2 to 3 days that you could 2 to 3 days that you could work on a file, just in terms of turnaround time. But for example, with the guys that were already doing so well in terms of the property space, it would take you 2 weeks and your manager would come back and say, are you still not done with this file? Because that you are now assessing some serious portfolios, and it takes a lot of time. And that's where I said, but there is a huge opportunity here. Track back 20 years later, I look back and I said, if I'd had the financial muscle and I'd started then, I'd be quite far by now.
Someone could be assessing your portfolio and
for
taking
2
2 weeks,
3 weeks. Absolutely. But I remember attending one of the property seminars, and this guy said, it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
And don't look at the time.
Yeah.
Don't look at the missed opportunities. Instead look forward to the promises of new opportunities. And also, like I say, the discipline of saving, the discipline of building capital, also takes time. So in that time, I would spend time looking at opportunities, obviously knowing that by the time I have the money or the financial muscle, some of those opportunities may not be around anymore, but they were good kind of case studies for me. And also that time has given me a chance to learn as well and understand, because the biggest mistake you can make is to invest in an industry that you have, no knowledge or experience in.
Yeah. And what would you say now that you are on the other end? You were in the background and you were like, you started learning how the portfolios work, but now you are on the other side. How is that difference? What's that shift for you being on the other side?
It's a quantum leap. It's a huge jump. I'm grateful to have been on the other side, because as an emerging property developer, I do know what the financiers are looking for. I do know what the equity partners are looking for. And of course it is different because there's so much more that's demanded on this other side.
Yeah.
Because on the other side,
it's so easy.
Just assessing.
It's so easy to assess and judge and say, maybe not at this time, or now it's real. And it's real because one must make it happen as well. No point in saying you're a property developer and you don't have a portfolio.
In what ways can industry stakeholders support, Black? And I know that even males still have, these barriers, but Black female property developers, as they start out in building these portfolios.
Thank you so much for that question. I would take it all the way back to home. I'm looking at myself now, and I have 3 daughters. And they already know about property. I think sometimes we're looking for government institutions, organizations such as SAIBPP to come in and make a difference, which I believe there's been serious strides that have been made by organizations like SAIBPP to make a difference in our communities. But we also have to hold each other's hands as well. So meaning our communities also need to get to a place where, looking back at a difficult past where our parents were not allowed to own property assets, there is almost a gap that needs to be bridged. There's conversations that I would say our parents need to have with us, because then as young women, as female property developers, we need to understand that the issue is bigger than just the business of the day. There's a lot to it. Property gives people dignity. However, we have a big fight that's still ahead of us. There are still huge discrepancies in terms of how the economy works. but no use in shouting placards every day. Rather, we need to all kind of, hold each other's hands and be willing, to put in some serious effort, into building our communities, into creating awareness, to say you're currently at school, but what is your vision? What is your future? And I believe for a lot of successful people, land, property assets, any successful person will tell you, is probably one of the most important and fundamental investments that one should have.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so important because we put a lot on the blame game, but then we have to come to a point where we say enough is enough. The action that we are taking or deciding on as a community, because we cannot only point out the banks and the government all the time. What are we doing
for ourselves?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think also it's so important when we are in boardrooms to think about the decisions that we make. I know you are most of the time in the boardroom, but if you had to sit with those decision makers, what would you want you to, as someone who's part of the women's conversations and development, what would you want the bank, the government to include in the steps that we as the community and we as the women want to take?
Sure. Yeah, there's quite a lot. But I think I even without going there, because the external environment is what it is. And there's lots that needs to change with it. But what I love about what you spoke about, Lethu, is, you started at home, right? With yourself.
Correct.
Saying that I exist in an environment where there's barriers. There's a lot that government could do. There's a lot that banks could do. There's a lot that, corporate could do. But taking a responsibility to educate my daughters. And sometimes as parents, we look at our children and we're thinking, they're so young. They won't be able to understand this information. At what level, do I communicate with them? How does that go with you and your daughters? At what ages did you begin to have these conversations that you would say now they understand, the some of the principles about property?
So I've got 3 daughters, but 2 of them are actually in high school now. So they're fertile ground.
Yeah.
That they're at a really precious time where they are very kind of cognizant, but also still young enough to kind of suck in that knowledge. And I'm still at a place where I can still kind of influence them as a mom.
Yeah.
So my kids are quite inquisitive. I was fortunate to say, Mom, you're always on that laptop. What are you doing? I said, actually, come closer. And just seeing their faces light up. $1 million. They're our kids are influenced Eurocentrically. No, it's not dollars, it's rands. But now we're talking big figures. And using very easy examples. Just the other day, I was teaching them about compound interest.
Oh, wow.
Because the one is a spender and the other one's a saver.
At my house. Oh my goodness. My youngest is a spender. Yeah.
So having a conversation about compound interest, I opened accounts for both of them. Mm-hmm. They all started at the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to teach with actual live examples where it's like, so baby, you've spent your money and then she hasn't spent her money. Mm-hmm. But you guys both started at the same place last year. Mm. Please come and have a look at how much her savings account has accumulated. Mm. Says, how? I said, compound interest.
Like a magic wand.
Yeah. So using those examples, like, everyday examples, teaching our kids about, delaying the gratification, can yield better.
Yeah.
Better results, better outcome, patience, teaching them patience. And sometimes they learn the hard way because now my other daughter's jealous of the other one because she seems to be rich.
Money.
Yeah. And the other one can't remember what she did with her money. She can't even point at so those are the easy examples of teaching our young kids, in terms of understanding the concepts of money. So making it real.
Yeah.
So my mom, I look up to her.
Yeah.
She bought her property. So we moved to a suburb in 1997.
Okay.
There was four black families in that suburb.
In that neighborhood.
Yeah. In 1997.
Yeah.
And by the way, my mom used to teach at a, Bantu education system at some point, earning 25 rand per month.
Oh my goodness.
To buying a house in the suburbs. And so with that example, I now show the kids, I pull a property report and said, this is Granny's house.
Yeah.
Obviously they know Granny's house.
Yeah.
In 1997, Granny bought this house at 173,000 rand, which was a lot of money for a black female teacher. At the time in 1997, just after, democracy.
Yeah.
And I said to them, let's have a look at what Granny's house is worth now. 3.5 million.
Sure.
I said, wow.
Sure. They start to see the dollars.
Say, Granny, what are you going to leave us? Said, okay, maybe let's not take it too far.
Wow.
So these are the things, using basic but real examples.
Yeah.
I think our kids are I think they're very advanced, actually.
Yeah, no, they are.
They're very advanced. So the first time I heard about AI from them. So I think we also need to adapt a new culture where we come from a time and place where adults didn't speak to children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
goodness. And left us with a lot of knowledge that we could have been acquiring over the time. So times have changed and we need to move with them. Of course, you ask yourself how much information is good enough.
Yeah.
But definitely, and I think I just want to make another comment in terms of what I would encourage a female, a woman who says, I want to get into property. I would advise this for any entrepreneur wanting to get into any industry is to read. Very important. I always say to my kids, what are you doing on your phone? There is a plethora of information on that phone. There is so much, there is so much access to information right now.
Yeah.
As compared to before.
Yeah.
So there is no excuse. There is so much information. And I would just encourage our communities to really just get down in there and read and get information, assimilate information. And usually that information can over time turn into like
money,
proper returnables. Yes. Yeah. So you can see your return on investment over time. Yes. So I think we definitely need to continue pushing the culture of reading. It's so important.
My goodness.
I agree. And I think when we think the term property, we're only thinking of the building. But property is not only buildings, residential and commercial. There is those assets class, the REITs that are there that people can also tap into them. So reading, I definitely agree with that.
Geez, it's crazy how we, this phone, this device is literally like glued to our hands. And we spend pretty much, many, many hours on it, but not empowering ourselves, through it. So mentorship, how can mentorship and ecosystem building be reimagined to create a scalable impact for aspirant property developers?
I really believe in mentorship and community development. I think for anyone who's going to go out there and do very well, having access to experience and exposure is a very important thing. And some of us come from marginalized communities. Some of us come from communities that have no access. So mentorship is a very big, important and highly impactful, I think, strategy, to continuing with this, fight, for Black property developers. I think if we just only focus on, running businesses, making more money, we're actually closing the door to a lot of potential. And so I definitely believe a lot in mentorship. I think, yes, just exposure alone, taking somebody into a boardroom meeting, taking somebody to site, like we did the other day, with the SAIBPP Women's Programme. Is a huge game changer. It's a huge game changer because you can imagine if there's a construction site, it's all wrapped up. You can't even see what's happening on the other side unless you are authorized to be in there.
Sure.
And so mentorship opens those opportunities for people to see what's happening, and to create more curiosity, to learn more. And also to kind of see the vision from ground up. Very, very important. Yeah.
It's interesting. You spoke about, your daughter, coming and saying, Mom, you're on your laptop. What are you actually doing in there? I would have, similar conversations, with my son. Like, you're in meetings. What do you talk about? And I think there is a huge component of being a mentor, as a parent.
Absolutely.
I guess based on how we approach parenting, moving from, that hard, disconnected, like I'm up here and you down there.
Disciplinarian.
Approach. But when you are actually, engaging, there's a lot that we can teach them. And yes, become, mentors, as they grow.
Yeah, I agree. And also I think, that's a good point that you're saying. Thank you for sharing that. But also I think we as parents, and it's a good thing that we have you guys as, I'm not a parent as yet, but I'm an aunt, I try to share because I also remember my dad used to take me, because I'm the eldest daughter. He used to take me when he goes to like old mutuals and Metropolitan was the one for tea. He was a former teacher, but he was also a businessman.
Okay.
So when he goes to do his policies, he will take me, and he would ask me when we leave, like, will you be able to do this? And at the time, I didn't understand what he's talking about. But my dad would take us, me and my brothers will take us when he goes to the bank. When he opened our first bank account, he would take us so that we understand the concept. But as a child, you don't understand until you are living it. Like, oh, okay, this was the aim of all of that. But it's so crucial that we start at home instead of giving it to the teachers in the classroom to do this, because they can only do so much in the education system, because some things need parents to step in. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So a lot of people are saying, what are these kids learning at school? They're learning the anatomy of a cricket. Fundamentals are needed. The academic fundamentals are needed. And then parenting. That's where now, if someone has learned how to count in numbers, now as a mentor, as a parent, or as an aunt, for example, like you, now those numerical, academic foundations are now supported to say, you had to learn how to count to 10. So that if you give somebody 10 rand and they owe you 5 rand, you can tell if they haven't given you the correct amount. So definitely we can't just wait upon institutions, and classrooms to do everything. There must be a point in time in our communities where someone is taking the baton from the teachers and saying, how much further can we take this? Yeah.
I think also, the mentoring, it shouldn't only start when you are working or when you are in tertiary. I think it should start while, we should have more of mentoring in the schools, It shouldn't start when you are older and understanding, or like when you're looking for a job, because I think that's where a lot of time it starts. But I think it should start earlier than that.
No, absolutely. I mean, when we are younger, we are more malleable. But then at a certain age, we've got some things are like part of your foundation, and it becomes a lot more difficult to change how we think, how we view the world and all of that. So policy and advocacy, what role do you see them play, in driving this gender responsive urban planning, environment?
I think that is an extremely important role. Advocacy will kind of straighten the line. So, for example, with South Africa, there's a huge infrastructure budget with a whole development plan program for the next 3 to 5 years. And advocacy is important to hold accountable the leaders that make the decisions in terms of how they share, share the business of developing this country, because the budget's already there, the plans are there. However, how do we make sure that everyone gets to have a chance, an opportunity to participate in a fair environment, in a fair market. Not to say that, for example, CIDB grading is not necessary. It's very important, especially because we're building bridges, we're building houses. We don't want them to collapse on people. However, we also need to understand how sometimes not giving entrepreneurs opportunities to play in the market because the barriers to entry are so high. We need to understand what are the ramifications of such policy. And so advocacy is very important. So if a grade 9 CIDB contractor has work, but with no skills transfer, who do we hold accountable for that? And what is the socio-economic ramifications of that? And so advocacy is really, really important. Really, really important. I'm just thinking of a story. I worked with a cooperative in KZN, in the area of sort of like between Greytown and Maritzburg. And what these ladies had done was incredible. These women obviously had land, which they'd inherited from their forefathers and so forth. So they're in a rural community. But they managed to convince your SPAR, your ShopRite Checkers, to actually have an offtake agreement for their potatoes. Because in the area, apparently the soil was perfect for planting potatoes. And so I don't know who, but someone put them together in a cooperative, had meetings with the ladies to say, you're home all day, you've got land, and there is a market, a formal distribution market. So instead of everybody pulling in different ways and planting different things, let's all plant potatoes. Then we've got a collective of 50 hectares of potato farms. And what they would do is they would rotate. So SPAR would collect from different farms as though they were collecting from one farm. So different areas. And each family got to participate.
Oh my goodness.
So this, if it's this season and the potatoes are ready, then that family would make their money, and then it would move in sort of like a cycle. And they'd all chipped in for vans that would go around and collect, and they would pay those drivers. It just was amazing.
Beautiful.
And I would say that program was created by somebody who was community development focused, and also understanding that advocacy is very important, because somebody had to have gone to the local SPAR and the local ShopRite Checkers to say you can't bring in potatoes from
and we've got
when we've got them. And fortunately, institutions and organizations and leaders do respond to advocacy. They do. And as in with this example, they would have said, okay, organize yourselves. Make sure that you have a plan. We work in this structure. Make sure that you fit into our structure and you have a deal. But none of that without advocacy would have happened.
Love that.
Wow, that's an inspiring story. I think it's so important to have a community that works together, because if the woman and the SPA didn't align or agree, then it's more like outsourcing the work that could be done by all of us, and giving each other a chance to say it's your season now to harvest.
Geez. On how can you share some insights on how we can bridge the gap, between informal housing needs and formal property development? And it's always I think there's still quite a conversation that needs to be had even with the different, where you will have the social housing, you will have the gap housing, and some people will say there's the missing middle, right?
Yeah.
And so it goes. But from the informal to the formal property development to create inclusive community-rooted solutions that are led by women.
There's a program currently that comes to mind, which is actually under the National Housing Finance Corporation, that First Home Finance program.
Yeah.
I think that program has come in to sort of be an answer for the missing middle. I just think that we as property developers also need to come together and look at such programs, and take advantage of such programs, because one, as an entrepreneur, as a builder, for example, there is opportunity, but also as a community development agent, there is also a big win as well. So there are definitely programs out there, I would say. I just think that I'm not sure whether maybe it's an issue of incentive.
Yeah.
And maybe not necessarily an issue of incentive, but like I said in the beginning, property is a capital intensive game. And maybe, government could definitely kind of look at how the budgets could be reviewed in order to create better incentive for Black property developers, to assist them to try, because I believe that the interest is there. I believe the willingness is there, but sometimes I would say the incentive to focus on like social development really needs to be looked at. But definitely, government has really tried to kind of move us forward from where we used to be. Sure. I think everybody is aware of our South African history. But we also need to come to the party as well, as the community of South Africa, to assist these organizations and institutions as well as government, in order to push us forward. And one of the more important things is there's never been such a time where there are so many property professionals, built environment professionals. We're sitting with probably one of the best female property valuers in South Africa right now, in a few years' time to come. So I think as built environment professionals, we also need to really organize ourselves in an impactful way, and build a balance between being economically active and socially active as well.
Sure. Yeah. I think the when you put it like that, it brings to my mind, this concept of collaboration, right? Because we talk it. I don't know if we do it as well as we, talk about it, because when you're thinking about a property development, and now you've just spoken, about a valuer, there could be an engineer who is aspiring to get into property development. There's a quantity surveyor who's aspiring to get into, there's an architect, and so it goes. And part of the capital intensive, nature of property is, the professional teams that make it up. But now the quantity survey is struggling with it on her own to raise all of this. She still needs an engineer and an architect that she needs to pay for. And there's an architect on one other corner who's struggling with getting into property development on her own. And how beautiful would it be if we were actually more comfortable with finding each other and setting ourselves up to build one building together, right? And we become a property development company that we all own, as opposed to each of us struggling individually in our corners, trying to find a skill that exists somewhere, but we're not collaborating sufficiently.
Absolutely. And probably struggling in our corners by ourselves for the next 5 years. You actually asked me a question about some of the difficulties one has experienced in property development. And I really want to raise this conversation in a very constructive way.
Yeah.
I believe as Black people, we really need to work and learn to work together. We really need to understand the importance of unity. As a property developer myself, emerging property developer myself, I can tell you, you'll initiate projects, you'll look at opportunities, and you'll spend your time speaking to 50 architects, Black architects, 50 quantity surveyors. And do you know what they all do is, and not to say no one is running a charity, it's a business. But everyone says, I need a 700,000 Rand initiation fee.
Where am I going to get that?
Exactly.
I still need to buy the land.
Exactly. And also you need at least 10 professionals. You need a QS, you need, an architect, you need a civil, mechanical, electrical engineer.
My goodness.
And imagine if everybody.
Each of them wants hundreds of thousands initiation fee.
Exactly. And so that kind of narrative will set us back. You've got the GPF. They say you can do a all-inclusive 20 million Rand project as an emerging developer. Okay. Let's say you are the founder entrepreneur, if I can put it that way. So you find an opportunity and you've done your market study and you know it can work. And all you have to do is put together a professional team. And the GPF even specifically says, we want the professional team to be predominantly Black built environment professionals. So we can't blame government. They've already done policy for inclusion. And I must tell you, the other built environment engineers that aren't Black are willing to come in
and work on risk.
They are willing to come in and work on risk.
Because they can see the big picture.
Yes.
Once she wins, we all win.
Absolutely. But you can't use them all because policy says you must have Black built environment professionals as the majority of your team. So now you've got a few of your professionals and you're just struggling to find another 5 Black professionals to come in and join the project. Is this really our story?
My goodness.
Is it really the narrative? And I can tell you, every single year, UJ, UP, DUT, UKZN are churning out built environment professionals, brilliant ones. So where is the problem?
It's us.
Where is the problem?
Okay. So
it's us. We are the problem. I think I also can relate in the property valuation space because when you do your valuation, you still need your estate agents. You must work hand in hand with them because they know the area. You'll find that it's a new area that you've never done your market research on. You need them. So you need to work hand in hand with them so that you can get the correct valuation because what we found out is that you want to put your own market value based on how the type of improvements you've done in your property.
Yeah.
But then the market research, it's saying otherwise because of the lending, and then you'll find that banks give out a lot of banking, lending to people, and then they hang themselves and then they can't do the payments. But then when you have the right professionals with you, like the estate agent, they know the area. Then when you put on your portfolio, your research and report, you put the right market value for that. So definitely we do need each other, and we do need to work hand in hand.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, our last question, which we got from a guest that we hosted, when you are 70, 80, and you are sitting out there, in serene environments, and you're looking back on your life, what legacy would you want to say you have left behind?
What a beautiful question. An impact. An impact in the form of the amount of people you've pulled up the ladder.
Yeah.
The amount of buildings that are standing. The amount of jobs you've created. Remember, in our space, we could create jobs where people are there for 30 years. So at 70, I'd like to hope that I would host awards for, longest serving members of my organization. I'd like to see my legacy being taken over by my children, whom I'm working very hard to educate and train and build up as well. And also conscientize in terms of community.
Yeah.
So those, I think, are the things I could look back and say, wow, I've made an impact.
Yeah.
That's really, really what, I see, as something that at 70, I would be quite humbled, and honored
to look back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your parting shots, Pholoso?
Yeah, I think this was a great conversation. We keep on learning every day, as women, as the younger self, that you are trying to remind that you were doing great actually.
Yeah.
To where you are today and who you want to inspire as well.
Yeah.
I think we still need a bit of work in the property space department, but we are getting there. We have the work, is still a lot, but I think the resources are there. We just need to tap and tap and tap.
Sure. Yeah. As we wrap up, I hope that you, as you're listening, you think about the legacy that you will be leaving behind. Is it a legacy of one, or is it a legacy where you will have pulled up many people as you climbed in your journey? Thank you for joining us. And thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.